Item number SCP-114. Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-114 is kept in a 10 cubic meter standard concrete humanoid containment cell at Site-17. The cell is positioned at the bottom of a 40-meter shaft to prevent staff members from coming into proximity of SCP-114. The cell is accessible by a staircase restricted to emergency use only. Daily rations are provided to SCP-114 3 times a day by means of a dumbwaiter. SCP-114 is also permitted to submit written requests to attending staff by the same means. To date, SCP-114 has been granted 1 Quran, Arabic, 1 Braille, and 1 blank journal with pens. Researching on SCP-114 is suspended until further notice. Elimination of SCP-114 is acceptable in the event of a multiple containment breach crisis. Description: SCP-114 is a Pashtun woman of Afghani origin, approximately 40 years old and 160 centimeters tall. SCP-114 has the involuntary effect of fostering and escalating violent conflict between all individuals in her proximity. Subjects within 10 to 15 meters of SCP-114 become inconsolable aggressive at trivialities or points of little consequence, often to the degree of projecting hostile motives on others. Arguments generally arise between individuals after 1 to 3 minutes of exposure to SCP-114. The resulting arguments turn to violence in all cases. Notably, persons affected by the presence of SCP-114 will never exhibit hostility towards SCP-114 or attempt to inflict harm upon her. Subjects ordered to deliberately injure SCP-114 find themselves unable to do so. For relevant information, see Experiment Log 114-A. Communication between SCP-114 has only been possible through written notes or electronic means. Researchers have claimed that SCP-114 is unaware of her effect on other people. She shows little to no response to exposure to violence and seems to be under the impression that human beings are naturally aggressively hostile to each other. SCP-114 is consistently unresponsive and uncooperative with researchers, and appears to be actually wary of human interaction. Due to the difficulty of communication with SCP-114, psychological evaluations have been speculative at best. Rudimentary assessments strongly suggest psychological trauma, combat stress reaction and/or compassion fatigue have been tentatively proposed. Document 114-A, 889-12. Abridged eyewitness report from a former soldier in the 40th Red Army, interviewed March 23, 1991. Translated and transcribed by We took on February 1st, 1980. It was a shit little village, but the Mujahideen put up a damn good fight. 8 of our men killed, 15 wounded, 1 tank destroyed. It was that cold too. You think the Middle East is warm, but you go to the mountains in February. It is not so. Anyway, we were mopping up the area, going through the huts looking for weapon cages and the like. It seemed like every doorstep had some old babushka weeping and tearing at her hair and clutching our knees. But at the end of the street was this one big hut. No babushka outside. Only there were trays of food left out, like an offering before the door. Pauses for several seconds. So 6 of us go in to search. It was big and empty inside, dusty and practically bare. Didn't look like anyone had been in there in a long time. But soon we heard a soft whimpering though, and look. Over in the corner there's a little girl. Must be 8 or 9, curled up and all alone. Piotr, he was a big softy. He goes over, he bends down, puts out his hands and says, "Come on, little one, it's okay, we won't hurt you." But the girl won't budge. Then Piotr stands up all stiffly and looks back at us funny. Konstantin walks over and puts a hand on his shoulder, tells him to leave the girl alone, laughing good-naturedly. Piotr gets all red-faced like he's had a full bottle and shouts, "Get your damn hand off my shoulder," or something of the sort. He looks like a wild animal. We all in surprise, and suddenly they are on the ground and he's bashing Constantine's face in with the butt of his rifle, screaming. Took 3 of us to pull him off, and by then Constantine was dead.